How much archery gear do you have?
Quite a lot. There's, I think there's about 14 or 15 bows in there. There must be, I bet there's getting on for 300 or 400 arrows easily in different sets, wooden ones, carbon ones, aluminium ones, you know. Some actually I've got some from Andreas, I've got some from Stefano, I've got one of Klaus's arrows, I've got, I think I've even got one of Hubert's in there.
You're collecting the arrows from the opponents then?
Yeah, that used to be the thing years ago, you know, swap arrows, but it's kind of died off. It doesn't happen quite so much now. Too expensive, I think.
Okay, let's start with some small introduction.
Okay.
We might have some viewers that don't know you yet.
Okay.
Can't be so many. So you're Gary Hart. You're living in.
I live in a place called Coppell, which is near Preston in Lancashire, in the northwest of England. I'm about 25 miles from Manchester, about 30 miles from Liverpool, so up on the northwest corner of England.
Is that the Midlands?
It's further north than the Midlands. It's classed as a northern city. It's northern England. We're only probably 50 or 60 miles from the Lake District, and then you're into Scotland, which is a different country altogether. You need a passport for that.
Well, you will need a passport for many things soon. But how long are you doing archery?
I've shot a bow and arrow since I was 6 years old. My first tournament was at 10. I didn't really get into serious competition until I was in my late teens. When I first started, I couldn't shoot my way out of a barn. I was absolutely hopeless. But it was kind of an ingrained thing, and it's one of those sports. The more practice you do, the better you get, and the more you get out of it. And I wouldn't like to think how many arrows I've shot in my career, but it's a lot. You know, it's I should think it's approaching millions, not hundreds of thousands. It's millions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel coming to Germany next week?
I'm quite excited about it, really, because it's the first holiday I've had from the job. I started a new job last year, so this is my first holiday.
Really?
From this job, so I'm quite looking forward to it. And I always like driving on the continent as well, so it's a bit of an adventure, and I'm coming on my own. So again, it's an adventure for me. So it'll be quite exciting. It's a good 10-12 hour drive, so I'm quite looking forward to that. I'm not looking forward to the Eurotunnel in France with all the migrants. It might be a bit airy coming back, but it should be okay going out.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll be armed to the teeth, so I'm not really worried.
It's a great opportunity this fall in Germany to I have the feeling that we have so many classy archers participating in the German championships. Big names, even Gary Hart is coming, and I'm really excited about it. I was talking to a German guy that makes our compound magazine here in Germany, and he told me who would all the names that would attend the bow hunter class in the German championships, and I was like, oh man, that would be an interesting tournament to go. Before I was shooting freestyle unlimited with the sight and the scope and all that, so I had maybe 4 or 5 weeks of preparation, but I'm really motivated. I really want it. I want to go there.
I contacted Andreas on Facebook, and he said he's shooting bow hunter now.
Yeah, absolutely. He will be there.
I don't know.
Klaus will be there. Hubert will be there. Ralph will be there. It's I met Andreas in spring when we had the indoor championships, and I talked about maybe shooting compound in the bow hunter style again, and he was like, yeah, why not? I would feel like it. And now it's only 6 months later, we will all be in the same tournament shooting the same style.
It'll be good. It'll be good.
It's really, really cool.
I'm really looking forward to it. It's I just hope shooting with this dynamo, because it's very, very, very new to me. I just hope I don't disgrace myself.
I don't think that's going to happen. Klaus put it like that. He said, "Well, it's not about winning this time. It's more about being there and
friends, yeah,
meeting the friends.
Yeah.
We shot together in Hungary some years ago on a field championship.
Yeah.
And what else did we shoot together? Was it a 3D Masters? No.
No, I've only done one 3D Master. I think it was the second one they did.
Okay.
I went over there.
No, but we met last year for the World Championships.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Are you doing Italy? You going to Italy?
Yeah. Do you know, I registered yesterday. They had a special registry open window for only 200 names, and you had to be there on the 20th of September at 2:00 p.m. And I was on the computer. It was some minutes to 2, and I was refreshing the site all the time. I was like, yeah, I want to go there. I want to go there. And the best thing about the World Championships next year is that all the German bow hunter guys, they will be on the European Field Championships.
Okay.
They're not coming, so they have better chances to win.
Okay, right. Okay, well, I'm going to Italy. Yeah.
I'm
if I was doing the field, and I said no, I'll just be doing the bow hunter next year.
Yeah.
It'd be. I'm going to perfect this dynamo. I think it's for finger shooting. It is an awesome piece of machinery because it's so long axle to axle, and it really lends itself to string walking, which I do a little bit of feater. I hold all the UK records in the feater field.
Okay.
Is that something you do in Germany? Do you do the feater field, the 24 targets, 3 arrows a target?
No, well, we have that kind of ruling. Yeah, we have that tournaments, but not for the bow hunter style. It's only for unlimited bows,
Yeah, in the UK there is an unlimited recurve bare bow, recurve Olympic, and then a compound bare bow. So you can string walk. You can use a compound and string walk. So yes, it's a good practice, good tournament.
Yeah.
But never enough arrows for me. It always feels like I've shot not enough arrows. 3 arrows at 24 targets. It's not like shooting an IFA round, and it's 4 arrows at 28.
Yeah.
You feel like you've done some damage. You've shot some arrows.
Yeah.
Good fun. No, it's good practice.
And the dynamo is more like an old style of it's an older concept of compound bow. It's a single cam. You have this recurve riser and a recurve limb. How come you are going on a bow like that? What do you like about it?
Well, when I first started shooting, and compounds were in very early development through the 60s and 70s, and I saw these in a magazine, and they were very, very expensive. I couldn't afford one, and as a child, I always wanted one of these bows. And the guy that taught me to shoot said, "Oh, you don't want one of those things. They're going to be awful to shoot. You need something that's balanced." So we always went down the compound twin wheel route, and I shot a Martin Cougar Magnum from the same time frame, and I've still got my original Martin Cougar Magnum. So I was interested in these, and I've had a couple of friends looking in America for me, and they were above $1,000. These bows, second hand, they're a lot of money. Anyway, I found one on eBay, and it was expensive. It was $500+, and then it was another few $100s to get it here. It came from a ex-policeman in New York State, and he's actually a friend of mine on Facebook now. He's very interested in the development. So I built it. It came over. It was all in pieces, very dirty, all the drab camouflage paint. I cleaned it all up, put it on my original Cougar Magnum riser, and had a shot with it, and absolutely fell in love with it the first time I shot it.
Okay.
The way it feels so alive. It's like a modern compound. My the Super Max, I love, but it's dead. When you shoot it, there's no vibration. The arrow just disappears at a great velocity. This thing actually feels like you're part of the boat, and it feels like your arm, and it's more like the bows of the 70s and 80s, that I learned to shoot with when I was growing up. And I thought it's a branch of the compound evolution tree that kind of went to a dead end. And after 1991, 92, you never saw any adverts for them. They kind of phased out. And Martin had got the patent for it. They were the people that made it from the original Graham Dynabow. So I thought, with a bit of a modern slant, with modern materials, these things, I think, have got some potential. So I think I'm at prototype number 10 now. The one I'll be shooting in Germany is number 10 variant. And I'm not there yet, but it's work in progress. And I think I've actually bought myself a Spigarelli DMS riser to build the next Dynabow on. It's more rigid than the Revolution.
Okay.
It's exactly the same geometry, but it'll just look nicer and probably shoot a little bit sweeter.
Okay.
So this is when I come back from Germany, this will be the next prototype when I get the heavy limb on. And I think if I can get the arrow speed to above 270 to 280 feet per second, I think it'll be a tournament winner because it's so smooth and it's long axle to axle. The knock travel's not level. I have to set my knocking point quite a bit higher than you would do normally because the bottom cam winds in faster than the limb can recover.
Of course, yeah.
But it does the same thing every time, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
As long as you get it set, I paper it, and it's pretty good. I get quite good. At 5 feet, I get a high right tear of about 3/4 of an inch to an inch. At 10 feet, I get a bullet hole, or virtually a bullet hole. So it shoots pretty well.
Okay.
I'm very happy with it. I offer springy rest as well, so I'm very happy with it.
You're using the springy rest, okay? Yeah, I mean, it's archery. I think has a lot to do with personality. How do you what do you want to express about yourself? We have so many bow styles, and I think that in archery we have so many people that are, very aware of individual, approach to the sport. So I wanted to talk about some of the way you see archery as a part of expressing yourself. I know you're an artist as well. You're a painter. You're a writer, and I think that archery for you maybe has something to do that goes beyond shooting arrows.
Well, it is kind of it's a spiritual experience, but I like to think as it's nice to know in yourself that you're good at something. Everybody wants to be able to do something well. I've been shooting a long time, so I expect the amount of years I've put in, I should be half decent at what I do, or I'd like to think I'm half decent at what I'm doing. But for me, I like to think of it as a life skill. It's if the zombie apocalypse kicks off, I've got a valuable life skill. But I know exactly what you mean. It is kind of a spiritual experience. For me now, the mental side of archery is far more important than actual doing it. But I get a lot of enjoyment out of like playing about and making the bows. For the last year, I've been shooting a longbow and making my own arrows and shooting that. And it kind of shooting my compound, I kind of lost a bit of impetus and I lost a bit of motivation for practice. But since I shoot the longbow and then come back into the Dynabow, I'm revitalised and I want to shoot all the time now.
Yeah.
I want to shoot. I'm actually I drive 50 miles on a Thursday night, so 75 kilometres on a Thursday night to go and practice each way. That is, so 150 kilometres each a round trip just to go and practice for 2 or 3 hours, and then I'll shoot again. I've got a tournament on Sunday, so I'll shoot on Sunday. Then I'll have one more practice session at Yorkshire before I come out to Germany. So it's quite intensive. I haven't put as much practice into this German Championship as I would do if it was a World Championship. I practice every day for that, leading up to it.
Okay.
Partly because I've been very busy at work, I haven't really had a lot of time. So it's some things that I actually work to shoot. So the work has to be there for me to have to afford to go to the archery tournaments.
Yeah.
So I've got to put the hours in at work.
And your preparation this year, is kind of small. And but next year for the World Championships, how do you plan to train?
This is actually training for the World Championships now.
Already?
This Dynabow now is in early stage of development. So I've had to adapt my style of shooting to shoot the bow. When I first started practicing with it, the arrows weren't going where I thought they should be going. And it was down to my personal style, my form. And I've kind of developed my form to fit the bow, not the other way round. And it's starting to come together. Every now and again I get a wayward shot, as we all do, but 95% of them now are sort of going where I need them to be.
Okay.
I shot an indoor round. We shoot an indoor practice round in Yorkshire where I go. And we shoot 5 arrows at 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 and 35 yards.
Okay.
Okay, so we have 6 arrows at each distance twice. So maximum score 420 on a 5-4-3 on the 20-yard face.
Okay.
You know, the hook face. And I shot a 392 the other night with the Dynamo, so at 420. So I'm pretty pleased with the way it's going, you know. But I found the spot shooting is easier for me than the animal round. I shot an animal round last week, and with my compound, I was averaging 20. We have in the UK we count the inner kill as a 24 and the outer kill as a 20 with your first shot.
Okay.
Well, I have 20 points to target usually, and I was down to 18 with the Dynamo. So it's not quite there. But that was the first tournament unmarked animal that I've ever done with it. So I expect it to be down a little bit. If I'd been way up there, I think I'd be peaking too early for Germany. I'm just very pleased, and I feel delighted that you've invited me. I feel honoured that I'll be coming on. I can't wait to see you all, because I know we have a good laugh and a good beer.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, you know, the people that I talked about, the German championships, everybody's looking forward to. You know, archery for me in the last some years has changed a lot. It was very exciting in the beginning. Then I got, you know, I somehow lost motivation. Then I started in training other people, and now it's, you know, I feel it's time for me to really shoot again. You know, to really take part in it and to be really part of that archery experience. You know.
Yeah.
I had some tournaments last Sunday and the Sunday before, and it was so fun. I mean, I had some bad luck with my equipment on Sunday, but still, you know, being there, meeting all the people from, you know, you know all them, you know, and shooting together with friends feels really, really good. Again, you know.
You know, see, the bow hunter division in the UK is very, very small. A few years ago, when I first started in the bow hunter class, it was the biggest division in the NFAS.
Mm-hmm.
At the national championships, there was probably 600 or 700 archers, and 50% of those were bow hunters. But now it's very, very, very small. There is only a handful. Steve Dale, who you know, Trevor Walter, who you know, they're about the only 2 regulars, and myself. There are some other people that float about, but very, very limited numbers. I would think there's only probably 30 or 40 in the whole of the UK now.
Yeah.
So very, very small. Everybody seems to, as soon as they kind of get the archery bug, immediately they bolt a sight on the bow and stabilises and use shoot release aid, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's in the UK it's a dying skill, but I think it's the only way to shoot. I mean, like yourself, I've shot with a sight, but I always come back to fingers and taking the sight off.
It's the magic.
I get there's more magic involved, you know.
Yeah.
It's more spiritual, and you get more out of it. When you hit the middle of the target with 2 or 3 arrows together that you've purposely put in there without a sight on, you must get more enjoyment out of that than doing it with a sight on and all the gizmos, because they've helped you. Shooting a compound with fingers, I believe, is the most difficult piece of archery equipment to shoot with fingers, because we're shooting a very, very fast, modern, high-speed bow off something that doesn't do the same thing every time. Your fingers don't open at the same speed. Your body doesn't react in the same recoil every time. Every shot's different. So it's something really nice about putting 2 or 3 shots together that go in the same place. It's a good feeling.
Yes, absolutely. You know, I shot in the unlimited division, and what I think is the one big difference between the both styles is that in the unlimited division you are eliminating little mistakes, sources for variance. You're looking for things you take out of your shot so it becomes free from any flaw.
Yeah.
And in the bow hunter style, it is more a holistic way of seeing it. Becoming better.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's a totally different, opposite way of looking at things.
Well, it's the exact opposite. With a compound unlimited, you are trying not to miss. With compound bow hunter, you are always trying to hit.
Exactly. It was fun, though. It was fun. It taught me a lot about archery when I was able to use all that modern equipment. I mean, it makes things easier. Okay, everybody can use it. It's not about being a genius, and of course, the guys that are really shooting well, they really know how to do it, and they are using it, way differently and just so much more sophisticated than, let's say, the average archer. Okay,
Yeah.
but all these things they have invented for example, the American hunters. It's idiot proof. Okay.
Yeah.
It's made to be idiot proof. Everybody is supposed to buy it in the supermarket and it works for you.
Yeah.
It's different than the bow hunter style, and but the bow hunter style, it has its let's say tricky parts, and you are limited to the bow and yourself, and I've experienced some really demanding problems out of that, and you don't have so many technical devices to work against that. If you're using a sight and a release aid, and you can choose release aids, we have hundreds of them now. You have way more equipment that helps you with your shooting, which is a good thing, I think.
Yeah. It's I think shooting unlimited straight out of the box. If you were a new archer, you're more or less guaranteed to hit the target sooner or later if you do it all right. I think it cuts out maybe 50% of the form training you have to do to shoot a bow without a sight. But there is no substitute for form shooting, because you'll know that the best unlimited shooters, their form is absolutely superb. It's the same with the best bow hunters in the world. They've got excellent form. Just the difference between the top few are the amount of thought that they put into each shot. It's your mental preparation. And I don't know if do you know the Kissick-Lee shot cycle?
I know.
Have you ever seen? Yeah. Well, in the Kissick-Lee shot cycle, the decision of hitting the target in the middle is made very, very early on in the shot cycle. It comes before all the aiming and all the release and everything. So you yourself make the choice whether you're going to hit the middle or not, subconsciously. Well, consciously and subconsciously. But it's very, very difficult to make your subconscious do the shot every time. That takes a lot of concentration and a lot of practice.
Exactly, yeah. It's demanding. Tell me about your shot. Do you think you have a special way of shooting?
I don't know. It's special. I think it's individual to me. Everybody does it. I mean, I know you shoot with a one-fingered loose, which is unique to you. I've actually tried that with for the NFAS here. We have to use a Mediterranean loose with one finger above.
Yeah.
So to negate that, having a low anchor, I adopted your style, but used my middle finger to release it instead of the top one. So I draw up, take the top one off, take the bottom one off, and then move up. Which worked for a while, but I can't do that with the Dynamo because it's only 50% let off. So there's too much weight on the one finger.
Yeah.
So I shoot with 2 fingers under, and I anchor not as high as yourself, but I put the feather along the edge of my nose here, so I can feel it, the feather pushing into my nose. I always shoot with feathers. I don't shoot with vanes because I believe that birds have had 270 million years to think about plastic, and they're still made of feathers. So that's the thinking behind the feather. I've shot some really good scores with feathers, and I trust them. The only downside is in the wet they go a little bit faster. because they lay flatter.
Yeah.
But how often do we shoot in wet conditions? Very, very few times a year.
Not too many.
You can more or less negate it.
Not too many. You know, I think that the plastic vane is just more durable. You don't lose it. You don't have to replace it all the time. I mean, I've been experimenting with the feathers because they're lighter. You know, they are even better steering. You know, they're still superior to the most of the. You know, you can buy a very cheap feather. It will be steering the arrow better than a very expensive vane. But
well, the more surface area. That's the feather has more surface area for the length. But I've shot feathers with even half missing, just a little bit at one end, all ruffled down, and they go exactly the same as brand new ones. You know, they just shoot. They're just phenomenal.
Okay.
So when they'll see my feathers that I'm coming to Germany with, they've probably done 3 or 4 tournaments. They'll look a little bit tatty, but they go exactly the same as they did when they were brand new. You know, I change them very, very infrequently, unless they're actually hanging off. That's when I change them. But I will be bringing my fletching equipment with me just to make sure that everything's okay. I'll have a string jig in the car and a load of string making equipment just in case the string goes down. See, the dynamo, unlike a compound, I can de-string in the field and put a new string on. You don't need a press to put it together. You just stand on the limb and bend it up and put the string on. It's quite easy to do. So I'll have spare string and cables in my quiver, and any problem, it's apart and back together.
that could be it could save you a whole tournament. You know, I have last week I had a problem on my bow and I didn't realize it really, and I could have fixed it if I had realized what happened. The rest, you know, I have a launcher rest, and the launcher was broken actually already, so it didn't bounce back so hard, and you know, my arrows I shot lower and lower, and I was like, you know, we had on the close targets, it didn't really matter, you know, you hit it some way, and you know, the kill size was big, so I was hitting a little low. I was like, okay, that's not a big problem. But on the long shots, we had a 60-meter target, and I was like, okay, let's shoot a 60-meter distance. And I was, you know, the arrow was going under the animal, you know, and I was like, oh, that can't be, you know, and I shot 2 arrows the same way, and both went low, and I was like, no, it can't be so far away, you know. I'm judging distance pretty well right now, and so I made a 7, and I realized I had to aim as if it was 70 meters away. So I aimed as if it was 70 meters away, which was impossible, and I hit the target. And you know, you start thinking about everything, you know, when this happens. And I went back and went into my archery club and into training, and I realized that I went lower with every shot I did, you know. And I was like, then so I tried to do like this, and it fell off, you know.
Yeah.
I have a new blade right now, so I hope it will last for the German championships, you know.
Okay, yeah, we good. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I've got a set of arrows already made up, ready to go. I'll shoot the ones that I'm going to shoot tomorrow. I'll bring those out as well. So
what are you shooting? What kind of arrow would you shoot?
I'm shooting 25-45 white-tailed cheetahs. You know, the cheetah arrow, the very light shaft. They're only 6.5 grains an inch.
Okay.
So they're very, very light. My arrows only weigh just under 300 grains. So they're very, very light, but they're very fast. But they are affected by wind. Wind does play a big factor with them. I use an 80 grain screw-in top hat bullet point, you know, with it in an insert. But they're cheap and cheerful, and they're quite durable, and they're quite fast. So they seem to be the only arrow that comes out of the dynamo with any kind of consistency. I've tried ACCs, 349s. They were a bit too stiff. They kind of kick. I've tried 250 Carbon Express, and they kick as well. So I've even tried 500s. I've got some. Actually, here the Carbon 1. Carbon Enfused 500s, and even they seem a little bit on the stiff side.
Yeah.
So the 25-45s just seem to go about right. So
yeah. No, the
bottom line is you've got to have confidence in your equipment. If you feel any doubt at all, that plays on your mind. So you've got to believe in what you're shooting. So,
exactly.
And it all comes with familiarity. The more you shoot something, the more confidence you get in it. So the more you want to use it. And I've got, probably 6 dozen of these cheaters to get through. I'll buy a dozen every now and again when I'm feeling a bit flush and stick them in the cupboard and then drag them out when I'm running low. If I get to 10, I make another setup.
The Dynamo is running on a recurve riser, so you have actually the original Archer's paradox. The arrow must go.
No, they cut past centre. It's
okay.
The recurve risers are all cut past centre. My button is probably half an inch away from the riser, so I get good clearance on it. But I've had to take the Spigarelli original flipper rest off, and I made an aluminium block to fit in the place of that, and drilled it through and threaded it to put a springy rest in. I've tried it with a bow noodle rest on, but the way the Spigarelli riser is made, the hand grip comes out too far. It's like too near to the rest position, so it means the rest has to be too high.
It's too close,
It's working pretty good. I like the way it is, and I use the arrow and the distance between the arrow and the shelf for my gaps. I don't use the rest at all. I just use the distance between the arrow and the shelf, so I can see the full picture window under the shelf, which gives me a good gap system.
Okay.
And I judge distance within 5 yards. I shoot a 5-yard gap, so I have a gap for 5, 10, 15, 20. I judge everything in yards, not in metres. Predominantly because the IFAA, the rounds we shoot, are all measured in yards. FITA is all in, or World Archery is all in metres, but I have a different gap card for that. I have to set up a different range altogether and not try and convert in my head because everything gets muddled up. But practice-wise, I tend to do more practice in my garage at 10 feet than anything else. Shoot blind for form with my eyes closed. That is the best form of practice you can get, because my thinking is, if your form's right and you're doing it right at the quiet end, at this end, the result end will come.
Exactly.
It won't come straight back, but it will come once you work out a system. So when I'm practicing on the range, if my arrows are going straight and they're in a line where I want to be, above or below the kill, that's good enough for me, because I know all it is then is my gap tuning to tune in and fine-tune the yardage. It's me not learning the bow. So that kind of evolves. The more you shoot it, the more it evolves. And we call it a golden moment here. I don't know what you call it in Germany, but when you gap shoot, you drop down onto the gap and you use that as a rough guide. Your brain and subconscious then say, that feels right. And the way it goes, that's the golden moment. But you can drop out of the golden moment above or below within a fraction of a second, or left or right. But your brain tells you at that specific moment, you're on the golden moment, and that's the time you should go. But if you think loose, you're already out of the moment. You have to drop into the moment, and it all happens automatically.
Okay, so you're not thinking, I'm ready, I release now.
No. I aim. I come down onto the gap that I've already predetermined for the yardage I think it is. I look at my line and I try and line the centre of the arrow up with the centre of the target, because everything I gap on is underneath the target. And then my brain tells me, go. And the arrow's already on its way. By the time I've actually thought about releasing, it's already gone. It's totally automatic. I don't think loose. I don't think let go, because it's like a rifle. When you're squeezing the trigger, if you think squeeze, you're actually thinking about the action. You shouldn't be thinking about the action. You'll be thinking about the aim. You should be looking at the pile of your arrow and keeping it in that mark, and the rest of it should be totally automatic.
So what is in your head in the moment you draw back your bow?
Everything kind of phases out. I actually do a visual imagery, so I imagine pulling my own arrow out of the centre of the target. I look at the target, and already within a hundredths of a second of looking at the target, I can more or less guess how far the range is. Then I'll fine tune that to within 5 yards either way. I decide where my gap is. I remember from my gap system where I need to be. I line up with I put the top of the arrow underneath the point I want it to land on. So the top of the arrow just kisses where I want it to land. So it'll be the bottom of the pro kill. And then I work out where my gap is underneath. I bring the part of the arrow straight down to the gap. And I concentrate on holding it still. I check my line. I look back at the target. And my brain tells me that you're on the moment. Your arm kind of links with your brain and they act in unison to give you the spot. You could even, sometimes you think you're even pointing off the target and you let go and the arrow goes straight into the middle. Have you ever had days like that when you shoot and you could be shooting and you aim over there and the arrow still goes in the middle? The more you practice, the more often that occurs. It's like a few years ago I had the occasion where about every 100 shots, I got the feeling that just as you're drawing the arrow back, you knew it was going in the middle before you'd even made the shot. About 1 in every 100 shots this would happen. And then I noticed it was getting more and more frequent. It was happening maybe once every 25 shots. And I thought to myself, well, what is different between that 1 in 25 shots than the rest of them? And there's only one thing that's different. The only thing that changes is the way you draw the bow. The only thing that can be changed while you're making your shot is the way you draw the bow and the way your muscles load up, because your shot is totally dependent on your recoil.
Okay.
So when you loose the arrow, you've still got a little bit of input on where the arrow's going to go with the way your arm recoils. And the way your arm recoils is totally dependent on the way you draw the bow. So then I concentrated and I learned this blind shooting technique to think about my gap and my back tension. Gap and back tension. So when I'm in the garage, I close my eyes and I think about grip on the front end of the bow for maybe 10 shots. Mm-hmm. Just think about grip. Loose grip, no weight. Loose grip, no weight. Just tell yourself over and over. And I can shoot groups that are like this, touching. I have to physically aim in different parts of the box, otherwise I backhand all my arrows. So then I'll think about loose. So I'll have another 10 shot where I just think about how it feels in my face, where the arrow is, and think about the way the loose is and feel my back tension pulling down into my back. Another 10 shots, and it feels nice. I enjoy it. You get to feel and you enjoy the shot. And the bottom line is when you're out on the tournament and you might be having a bad round, you just think to myself, this sure beats the hell out of working. And everything just melts away and just enjoy your shot and you find your day turns around. You can put some good scores in. I've actually shot my best scores, and you'll know yourself, your best scores are the easiest day shooting you've ever had. The hardest day shooting you've ever had is when you've shot really bad.
Exactly.
You've been trying so hard to put a good score in, and you shoot really bad. The harder you try, the worse you get. So the secret for me is switch off, enjoy what I'm doing, and let it happen. And it does. It's probably the secret to happy life. I don't know. Switch off and enjoy it.
Yeah, it is. To my clients, I sometimes say the hard part about it is to make it easy.
Yeah.
It's the hardest to make it easy, and I totally agree. It should feel relaxed. You should, it should come out easily. You should not press it out or force it. You should not have the feeling of forcing yourself into something or forcing a shot that doesn't feel right. But on tournaments sometimes that doesn't work too well. But
it's the pressure. That is the other side of a tournament. That's what makes it interesting, because in the last the championship I shot with against Klaus in what was that in wasn't in Hungary, was it? Yeah.
In Austria.
Austria, yeah, the last one in Austria. The guys Hubert and the guy that was fourth, I think was it Niels? Might have been Niels. They were catching us up really quick. Myself and Klaus were battling against each other. The pressure was just really like walking through treacle. You could cut the tension with a knife. The air was so thick, and we were shooting terribly. Both of them were shooting really bad.
That was Hungary, I think. In Hungary.
Yeah. Another day, and Hubert would have another 5 targets. Hubert would have overtaken us. It was that dire. Neither of us, myself or Klaus, could put a good shot together. The pressure between us was just so intense, and we were thinking about what we were doing, and the others were just doing the game, just playing the game, and they were slowly reeling us in. So it got to be a very, very good tournament. Yeah, but it was all down to the last arrow with myself and Klaus. Very, very exciting.
Yeah, it's I think it was in Hungary, and I remember meeting you all like every day after shooting. We talked, and it was fun, you know. Yeah. And on the last day, you know, Hubert had some bad luck with his equipment and all that. So, but still, you know, the competition was tough because you were close, Klaus and you. You know, it was. I can imagine how much pressure that is. You know, I think that the pressure in the bow hunter style feels heavier than in the, let's say, unlimited division.
Yeah.
In unlimited, I don't know. You have maybe it's the equipment that takes away something. It's just
not. I don't know. I think it's probably exactly the same for them because they have to make a perfect shot every time. We have got a little bit of scope. You can have a couple of bad shots and maybe even get away with it, but the unlimited, they've got to be on it. They drop 3 or 4 8 points and they're 10th or 11th. There's a lot of guys out there that are doing very, very well. So I think in the future they'll be making the kill areas for the unlimited shooters a lot smaller for to split them down a bit.
Yeah, hopefully.
I think. Yeah.
Hopefully, I mean, this year
maybe
still
to leave it the same size for us, or even make it bigger because we're all getting older.
You know, I'm the. How do you say I'm the new breed. You know, I'm the generation after you. Actually, I'm not that young anymore, but we'll see. You know, maybe we will have some new bow hunters this year. I've looked, and we are about 15 archers in our division, only male adult. You know, that's okay. That's quite some people, and I'm looking forward. I think that one of the German guys has some younger people that he's training, and they will come. So maybe we will experience a new talent. You know?
I feel like we're in a dying breed because all the Italians, they're maybe not Chiarelli, but Lorenzo and Stefano, we're all the same age. We're all 50 odd years old now, you know. So we're getting to the higher end. But I feel that Hubert, take Hubert for example. You know, he's a world class archer. He's a very, very good shot, and he's a lot older than us. So it just goes to show that if you're young in your mind, you can also be young in your body, and it's all about mental attitude. Because shooting a bow, you only have to be strong enough to pull it back and hold it still, basically. And I found that when I was younger, I fell into the macho trap. I used to shoot a very, very heavy bow. 92-pound draw weight, my Dart and Lightning was. I used to shoot a 500 grain arrow at 340 feet a second. Tin aluminium arrow. You know, I've still got some of the arrows in the garage. 24 13s with 5 inches and 125 grain piles at 340 feet a second.
My God.
So there was no speed limit back in those days. You know, you could have any weight of bow and any speed. But it took some controlling. And I feel it now because my elbow and my shoulder. I don't think I couldn't shoot a 92-pound bow. Back in 2010, I was shooting an 85-pound bow. I shot a Limb Saber Dead Zone 36, and I shot that in the German Field Championships in Darm with X7 arrows, 25-12 X7 arrows, and I was getting 280 feet a second out of that. But it's the wrong bow for that type of tournament. It's too much weight. It's a limited bow. So my Supra I shot was 50 pounds. I was getting 285 feet a second out of a 50-pound Supra, and now this one is 40. Well, there'll be 50 odd pound the dynamo when I've got it where I want it to be, and that's why I'm going to stay. 50 pound is a pretty good weight. You know, it's even at 50% let off, it's 25 pound on my fingers is not really a lot of weight. But the draw cycle is so smooth, it will blow your mind.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah.
Once you've drawn it, you'll want one. I guarantee it.
Why not? I shot the Omen some years ago. It was a 70-pound really aggressive cam, and really fast bow. I shot 380 grain arrows, like really heavy stuff. If you at around 300 feet a second, and if you were shooting them into a target, they were so deep in there.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous, but it was fun to shoot. I mean, for me at that time, it was about some, maybe it was a macho thing. I think it was more about feeling powerful, and for that it was really, really good. So maybe a year ago, I saw one of those bows, one of the Omen bows, on the internet, an archery talk, and I actually bought it from the United States, a 70-pound bow in my draw length, and it shipped over, and it was a really, really cool bow, and I was so happy to have it again, And as soon as I tried to pull it back, I was thinking, how did I do that?
Well, I've actually, I've been the last few years sort of collecting bows of my youth, and I've got a bidding on eBay now I've contacted the seller. It's not sold yet, for a Dart and Lightning, a 70-pounder, which in 1982 was the fastest bow in the world. I think they were IBO'd at about 330 then. So it was a very, very fast piece of equipment. And they only made them in 70 pound. I doctored mine to 92 pound with the same limbs. I shot it for 2 years, and when we took it apart to recable it, it actually bent the axles in the limb. The weight of the bow had actually physically bent the axles. They were like bananas. Without breaking the limbs. It was a phenomenal piece of kit. But anyway, I sold it, and I'm going to buy this one. It's very, very cheap, so I might have it hanging on the wall.
Well, why not? And I'm shooting a new. That's not a very new bow, but it's the modern style, high let-off bow. It's easy to shoot. It's more like as the archery community gets older, bows are getting easier to shoot, and I kind of appreciate it right now because it makes things easier, and I couldn't shoot at German championships if I would have to prepare with a 70-pound Omen Pro.
Well, the thing is, if you shoot a heavyweight bow, the only thing that suffers is your form. Because
your fingers.
Your fingers are sore, your back is sore. Your muscles loaded up when you draw the bow is not the same like I talked about earlier. So your recoil is wrong. So the only thing that suffers is your form, and if your form suffers, your accuracy suffers. So it's a vicious circle. You've got to be immensely strong to shoot any bow that's over about 65 pounds. If you're shooting a 65, 70-pound bow accurately, you are a very, very strong man or a very, very strong person.
Yeah, and
you don't need it with modern materials now. The ladies can get 300 feet per second out of a 40-pound bow. You don't need the weight. So modern materials have kind of overtaken the machoism, if you like. You don't need that weight to get that arrow speed. You just shoot lighter arrows.
Yeah.
You shoot X10s or ACEs or something like that.
Exactly. You might impress your opponents with a really heavy bow.
I think all they do, if they're in the knowledge and they know what we know, I think they will just smile and laugh.
Maybe yes.
You're half beat before. A lot of it is, I know when you get to the top level, a lot of it is psychology. And I've been to quite a few tournaments, and people beat themselves just because I've shown up. Think, oh God, I'm not going to do any good today because Gary Hart's here. Well, I'm not there to beat them. I'm not there to beat anybody. Everybody out there is there to beat me. So they're half defeated before they start. I just try and go out and get the best score I can. I know for any given round that there is, I've got a number in my head that I want to attain, so that's what I'm trying to get. Now, if that number is bigger than everybody else's, and I've got it, then I will win. If the number is less than other people can do, then I've lost, but I will be happy with our shot because I've attained the number I wanted in my head.
Mm.
So for me, that's the satisfaction. Whether I win or lose and you bring home a medal, at the end of the day, it's a piece of tin. What does it matter? I've had a good day. I've enjoyed myself. I've enjoyed the company. I'm out in the fresh air. I'm in the woodlands. Everything. Life could not be better.
Exactly, For the German Championships, we will have a mix of a double hunter round and a 3 arrow round on the first day, and on the second day we have a mix of 14 targets 3 arrow round and 14 targets 1 arrow hunter round. Do you have an idea how many points you would want to shoot on this regiment?
So how many targets is there in total?
It's 28 a day. The maximum would be 560.
Okay, so it's out of like an IFA round.
Exactly.
Okay, well, IFA round. On an IFA three animal round, I've shot 48. I've shot a 548 in the past. I know the world record. Andreas has got the world record at 552. So I would like to be. I mean, I know in Italy I shot I think 528, and then in Hungary I did a 532. I think it was. So I would like to be sort of 530ish to 540.
Yeah.
But shooting the Dynamo, who knows? That might be down to 500.
Yeah.
I'll be with friends, so it won't really matter.
No, in the German way, you have 14 targets on the where you have the 3 arrow round, like a 20 and 18 thing, and you have 14 targets where you have 2 arrows per animal, and you can shoot
so
10.
The kill is 20, do you need
10, 8, or 5.
Yeah,
Usually we shoot around like 470, maybe 480 is a good score.
Yeah. I know that's very difficult. I mean, I think on one of the rounds, Klaus shot a 420 or 430, 450. I think he shot on one round on the hunter round. So if you're only shooting half of that, so 220 odd is going to be a fairly good score on there, isn't it? On a 14. Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to. I haven't really thought about I didn't know what format was and what the score was, so I hadn't really got a number dialed into my head yet. But a normal big game animal round with the whole area as the 20. Do you use the inner kill as the 20 or the whole kill?
No,
the inner kill is the 20.
It's a big kill. It's the 20 in the normal 3 arrow round, but in the hunter rounds you have the inner kill.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So that makes
inner kill. So I will be thinking maybe 200 odd, 200ish on the 14. 3 hour round. I'd like to be sort of 530 and over. It kind of 520 for me is class is not a very good score for me. Anything over 520 is I'm getting there, but I haven't shot an unmarked animal round, 28 target round with this bow, so it's a little bit of an unknown quantity.
We will see.
I'm doing an animal round on Sunday, a place called Hanson, which is down near Derby, which is in the Midlands. It's about maybe an hour and a half, hour and 3/4 drive for me from here. But that's where I'm going on Sunday. So I'll have a bit better idea of how it's going to perform because it's only the second one I'll have done. So it's all on 3D, so I'll see how he performs then. But every time I shoot it, my head's getting more and more dialed into the distances. So it's only a matter of time, really.
Okay. You will be starting.
Get a good practice before.
Yeah, hopefully, and you will be starting in the German Championships as a guest shooter. So you will not. You're not, virtually able to win that tournament.
Yeah, that's fine.
But if you would have to guess who's on who's gonna take place 1 to 3, what would you think?
Well, that could be any number of about 5 or 6 archers. I know there's Hubert, there's Andreas, there's yourself, there's Klaus, there is Ralph. I think, I don't really know any. The only other German bow hunters that I know are Hino, and I've already contacted him on Facebook. He's not going, and I can't remember his name now.
Oh, Hino is not coming. I've met him 2 weeks ago. I thought he was coming.
No, sorry, Neil. Hino's coming, but Niels. That's it, Niels.
Yeah, Niels.
Yeah, Niels is not coming.
Yeah.
But if Andreas is on form, he's unbeatable. But also Hubert he's got some. I think he's into dark arts myself.
Yeah, it's witchcraft.
But and then Klaus as well. You know, Klaus is a very, 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 very stable, tidy shooter, and then is yourself, of course. You know, it's. I think it could be anybody's game. It'd be an interesting tournament.
It is.
And of course, the pressure will be off me because I'm a non-competitor. And when the pressure is off, there's no expectation.
Exactly.
No expectation. You always shoot better.
Yeah. In the end, you will kick ass, you know.
Well, I'm hoping I don't embarrass myself. You know,
No.
I just like to go out and enjoy myself and have a good day. That'd be really good.
You know what happens in Spießen? The place is called Spießen. You know what happens in Spießen stays in Spießen. You know. No, but I think it's gonna be really fun, and I'm you know, Klaus is a fierce competitor. He is really tough. He's such a nice guy. You would not expect him to be, you know, as competitive as he actually is. You know, and I think
doesn't get.
Yeah, I think that will be a great match. And this year, the German Bowhunter Championships, it's, I think, the most exciting tournament of the year. You know, I could not imagine that there were more high level archers in one spot at a time. You know, and so much experience, and you know, even the comeback of Andreas, it will be just a topic for itself. You know, how does he perform? Klaus says he's on fire. He's doing really, really well. He shot with him some weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's gonna be a blast.
It'll be very, very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
I just hope the Dynamo lives up to expectation. It's probably the wrong equipment for this kind of tournament, but I'm going to give it a go and enjoy myself. I think that's the essence of what it'll be about, and I'm really looking forward to coming. It's the whole thing really, the whole adventure. I actually enjoy getting the kit ready and packing the car and working out my route, organising the ferry, booking the hotels and the trip, and as much as the shooting. The shooting then becomes. I know it's the goal. But it's the build-up and everything that is very, very exciting for me. It's always kind of been the same way. It's, you know, I love it's almost like coming home to see the family. You know, it's going to be a really good trip. Yeah, touch wood, if the car gets there okay and there's no accidents or anything on the way, it'll all be good fun.
Yeah, totally. I'm really looking forward to. I have a friend over there that's gonna make some filming. You know, some video work, and I will, you know, take out the iPhone and film some scenes myself. So we'll have an update on that. Okay, and I'm really looking forward to see you.
Yeah, take care.
Have a safe trip. Have a safe trip, and thanks for your time, for talking to us, and we will be happy to have you here.
Yeah, it'll be great. I'm looking forward to it.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.